right, Rocky. We are a part of the Highlighter staff is Erin.
And Hannah.
And we are here to talk about the Brett Kavanaugh situation, just everything that's going on about that, and we're going to give our opinions. And if you don't agree, that's okay, but this is just our opinions about the whole situation, so keep on listening if you're interested. So basically what happened with Brett Kavanaugh is he was recently elected to be part of Supreme Court, and the votes between him and another component was 50 to 48, so it's very close. And it was President Donald Trump's nominee. Are we surprised?
Are we surprised? Even a little bit.
No. So basically before this happened, two girls came forward and talked about sexual allegations and talked about their story with him. So basically one of the girls, Christine, I think was her name.
Christine Ford or something.
Yeah, Christine Blasey Ford accused a teenage Kavanaugh of forcing himself on her at a high school party in the early 1980s. And then this other girl, Deborah Ramirez, said that when she was at Yale, he exposed himself to her without consent in a dorm room.
Both of these happened in the 80s, so it was obviously a really long time ago, but now that he's coming to a position of power, it makes sense that they would come forward with these details. But apparently that does not make sense to some people.
Some people are saying that because they waited so long and they're saying it now, it's fake, but why wouldn't you say it now if he is about to be elected to be on Supreme Court? If you see your I don't know, how do you say it? You see your
violator?
Yeah, violator or whatever. You're just that person who did that to you, about to be on Supreme Court, somebody who literally is gonna make decisions for America, and you see them, why, it's been a while, and I feel they finally were comfortable coming forward and talking about it, because talking about that is so hard and so scary, and people think that in this case a lot of people are oh, why did they come forward so late? It takes a while to accept what happened and be able to talk about it, and also why would you not come forward now? Why would you want your violator on Supreme Court?
And it's also been he's a guy in such a high position of power that can be really scary to come forward. He has the money, he's now on the Supreme Court, you have to build up a lot of courage to just tell everybody.
Yeah. And I'm going to read a little bit of what he did to Christine, because it just was very specific that it seems I don't know, that's doesn't seem like it's fake.
Yeah.
She said that she claimed that he physically and sexually assaulted her and she provided very specific details about he allegedly pinned her to a bed, groped her, and covered her mouth to prevent her from screaming. And then she also said with such force that she was afraid that he might suffocate her. I don't feel you would come up with that whole story. And what did he do to her for her to come up with that story? Mm-hmm. If that was something that people believed, if they believed that she came up with that story, do you think their defendant is she had a crush on him and he didn't like her back in high school? Sorry, ran into some technical difficulties. Basically, why would she come up with that? Especially if it was back in high school, she knew him in high school, why did she come forward with it now and lie about it now? What did he do that made her want to lie about that?
Mm-hmm.
There's in my opinion, there's no way that she lied about that.
And especially when she's saying that he was covering her mouth with such force that she was afraid she might be suffocated. What could he have done that would be so bad that she lied that far into it? I just don't think she would have lied about that.
Yeah. And even if she exaggerated her story, which again I don't think she did, he probably still did something bad to her.
Mm-hmm.
What would people's mind who don't believe she's telling the truth, what would they say instead? I'm gonna see if anybody has defended him and what they have said.
And while you're looking that up, it's just I don't even know.
That's crazy. to like a point where she thought she couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
And I don't know, everyone's like, she's lying about it, which happens with every time a woman comes forward. But it's just like, are we really that surprised that a white male in power is being accused of sexual allegations again?
Yeah.
Like, it's happened so many times this year.
And, like, people are thinking, like, all these people are lying about it, but, like, why are they lying about it? Like, what is their motive behind it? Like, I get, like, when people are like, oh, people made sexual allegations against Trump because they don't like him. But, like, if that was your argue, but, like, there's literally, like, video evidence of him saying, grab her by, you know?
Yeah.
Like, somebody, like, are you surprised somebody that said that would sexually assault somebody? You know
And
what I
then
mean?
would appoint somebody into the Supreme Court that has also sexually assaulted other women.
I don't sister stand that, so I don't like it. Okay, why Republican women defend Brett Kavanaugh?
This is from the New Republic.
I read a little bit about something about it, and I feel like we could have a discussion about it
because some women are defending him.
Somebody said white women who enjoy proximal power from their association with white men have often served as a white patriarchy, right?
Yep.
Most eager foot soldiers. I don't know what that girl meant.
Do I know what Shannon Watts means?
No.
Not really.
But I feel like they're just basically being like white women, like seeing white men in power is what I'm guessing.
I don't know. Some Democrats voted for him to be in it too. It's not all Republicans.
Yeah. Okay. They said they are not convinced by Ford, which is the girl in Christine, the one that he did stuff with in high school, or any other woman who has came forward. They resent the implication that all women should support the accuser, and they believe that the scandal will ultimately hurt the case of women who have been sexually assaulted. Above all, these women and the women they know are ready to lash out against Democrats in an upcoming midterm election. I read somewhere that, and I don't know if this is true, but like I read an article about like it's a video of people like what Republican women defending him, and they said like, what high school boy doesn't do that is what they said, and somebody like retweeted it and was like, gotta say that's a no for me. Like another like guy was like, that's a no for me. I don't like, that's not what I did in high school.
I gotta say, considering we're in high school, many guys that we are friends with don't do that.
Yeah, and like there are definitely people in high school and like people I know that like have done like do that, and like that's awful. That's like so awful, and it's awful that these women think that and are like under the impression of like boys will be boys. Like, oh, like he just wanted, like that's awful that like people think that way. Like it is not that hard to just get consent and like go about it that way. Also, like if you're not looking for consent, like what kind of person are you? And like for these women like to be like, oh, boys will be boys,
what
like
kind
don't
of
let it ruin.
People are they?
Yeah, like don't let it ruin like who he is. Like if you chose to do that yourself, you already are ruining your life.
Oh, I probably saw this on like Instagram or Twitter, or maybe you even sent it to me, but it was like, don't come out against them, like it'll ruin their lives. All of, like so many men in power right now still got what they want. They're in Supreme Court, they're the president, they're doing what they want, they get money, like it's like, really not ruining their life.
Yeah, like that was that tweet that was like, don't tell me that like this is ruining people's lives. Like it like has quote unquote ruined some people's life when people come forward, but usually that's because they did it and they deserve to, like, you know, like that's your choice. Nobody is telling you not to make that choice. It's like making a choice to like rob a gas station or like rob a bank. Like that was your decision. You decided to ruin your life that way, and like that girl decided to come forward because you did something that is traumatizing and awful, and like for these women to be like, that's just how boys be. No,
it's not how boys be.
No, and they should get consequences for it, but like President Donald Trump isn't getting consequences for it, and all those women who spoke up are silent now, so like who knows what happened with that. Like probably money, but like
probably,
and we don't know the whole truth about anything. Like these girls could be lying, we don't know, but like why would they be lying? And like boys will not be boys.
high amount of girls. Like, it's not, like, in this case, there's 2 girls that spoke out, but, like, that doesn't, there's such a high amount of women coming forward the past couple of years that are being like, I can finally talk about this. Like, let me tell you about what happened.
Like, for the people who are like, why did they wait so long? Like, there's a lot of people, like, that think that way, like, and even in our high school, like, that are like, why did it take this long for, like, somebody to come forward about something? Like, you don't understand that it's not like it happened and you're like, let me tell everybody. Like, that is a traumatic experience. It's like, it just takes over who you are. It can, like, literally alter, like, a person's personality because it's trauma, and your brain stops working when you have trauma. Like, it, like, stops, and you, like, freak out because of everything. And then, like, it's literally traumatic. Why would you be like, oh, guess what, guys? Guess what happened to me? And then
Guess what happened last Friday?
And then, like, also, oh, God. And then also, like, when you come forward and stuff, women get shut down like no other. Like, they get shut down like no other. They get treated badly. They get, like, all these, like, questions of, like, oh, well, did you want it? What were you wearing? Like, maybe, like, what, like, were you drunk? Were they drunk? Like, you know, like, they don't have the, like, it's first, like, question against them instead of, like, question for them, I guess.
Like comfort them and be like, tell me what happened.
Yeah, so, like, that's also a reason people don't come forward, because of the reaction that everybody gets. And also, in this case, you know how hard it would be to come forward and, like, be like, this Supreme Court nominee sexually assaulted me? Like, that's so hard to do.
Like, it's the Supreme Court, like, the highest level of court.
Yeah, so for you to be like, she's lying, she's making it up, why did she wait this long? Like, that's hard. That's really hard to talk about, and especially in court. So, like, also these women, conservative women, are experiencing a great deal of cognitive conflict. On one hand, they're very strongly committed to the conservative viewpoint that they'd like to see Kavanaugh on a bench of the Supreme Court. On the other hand, they are confronted with the information that suggests he should not fit the position. Yet another Republican person who hasn't sexually assaulted somebody.
That conflicted that you're like, we want a Republican, but you know he's not fit, then pick a different Republican.
Yeah, like, just get somebody who has not done this. I'm trying to read more about all of this.
And I don't know, like, the 2 women that came forward, Christine and Deborah, Christine said that this happened in high school, and then Deborah Ramirez said that this happened freshman year of college. So how many other times did it happen? Because those are just, like, 2 years, and if he started it in high school, carried it on to Yale, like, did it happen his sophomore, junior, senior year too?
Also, the way he, like, cried at the, like, in court was, like, he did not really defend himself. For the part that I watched, it was like, he literally was like, I promise you will make the right decision, and he's, like, crying and can, like, barely speak. He's, like, sipping water 24/7. Fake, and it's, like, and he's, like, trying to come up with the words that he wants to say. And, like, all the women behind him looked disgusted by what he's saying, because, like, what he was saying was such BS, and it, like, it didn't really, like, come clear. And, like, even the judge was like, I don't know, we're gonna make the FBI look into this. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's just...
The FBI should look into that.
Like, you cannot prove sexual assault, is what this one girl said.
Well, no, you can't prove sexual assault. You just have to kind of take somebody's word for it.
Yeah, like, you could do investigations and see, like, if a certain thing is in there. I've learned this in my CSI class, but, like, you still don't know if it was, like, forced or not. But you sometimes can tell, like, sometimes, but, like, it's hard in this case. Also, especially if this happened, like, 40 years ago. So basically, like, they didn't want the FBI to, like, look into it. And then this one girl on the news said she doesn't know where it happened. The FBI is going to figure out the story she's unable to tell. That's not its job. That's not its job, is what she said. So apparently this Megyn Kelly is very, like, heated about it. Yeah, this is a very, like, messy case.
There's, like, so much to look at.
Yeah, I'm just reading that, like, apparently, like, the names that Ford said in her story, like, there's, like, no key witnesses that, like, agree with her and stuff. So I'm trying to find out, like...
It's also... It's difficult because it was so long ago, you know?
Yeah.
Not that means she made it up or anything, but considering she's 51 now, it happened in high school. Like, she probably hasn't seen this dude in so long.
Yeah,
like,
and then she heard his
there's
name.
obviously going to be, like, some details that, like, there's some things that you're not going to be able to recall, I guess.
It's just a very, like, messy...
What did your mom say? What did you tell me your mom said?
What? Oh, he, like, hired 4 women to be on court, like, with him. And my mom, like, said, like, in my mom's opinion, it was, like, him just being like, oh, look, I got women. I didn't sexually assault her. Like...
Which would make sense if his whole crying everything was, like, a PR move. It would make sense that he brought women to be like, look, I care about women. Like,
yeah. Also, there was, like, another thing Abby told me that somebody was, like, being interviewed about the girl who came through, or, like, came out about the whole, like, thing, like, Ford, and they said that she was a very attractive,
witness?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that. That's a really weird thing to say about somebody who's coming forward for sexual assault allegations.
So I don't really like that.
That
but
she's attractive. Like, maybe she is. I just don't think that should have been the word
that's not
to
something
use.
that you should say.
Ugh. Like, it just seems like they're not helping out Brett Kavanaugh right there.
No. Do you think Abby's still in the room? I'm going to bring Abby and ask her opinions about this because she's very heated about it. All right.
We have Abby now.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Oh, so what's your opinion on this, Abby?
Oh goodness. Well, I'm pretty upset. I think it's kind of pathetic that we live in a world where Supreme Court justice, who's supposed to be deciding what's constitutional, what's right, what should go on, is accused of sexual assault. But then again, so is our president. So let's just make it a matching set. I don't know. I just grew up thinking that being accused of sexual assault meant that you did a sexual assault. Because why would someone accuse you of that? Just to be rude.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's like a liberal thing trying to screw him over. That's BS because this is such a serious topic and it means so much to women because it's like so life-ruining that no one would like lie about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's really pathetic that he was voted in just because he was Republican and he would give the messages and vote the way they wanted him to. They just looked past entire sexual assault. And yeah, it was basically just like the whole trial basically, which really was just a job interview, was really horrible to watch because he just was crying and angry and
like dry heaving and like drinking water.
And like everyone was like, it was really heartbreaking to see him. And honestly, that was just like a glimpse of what sexual assault can do to people. So I don't know why we're pitying him. And
agreed. I like said like, why would the girl come forward now and like lie about this if it happened in high school? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's always the thing. Is like if people come out against like these big figures and like talk about their sexual allegations, why would they lie about it?
Mm-hmm.
Like why would they lie about it in this case? Like I feel like she chose this time to come out about it because she saw that he might have been getting nominated and she was like, I'm not gonna let my
she said it was her duty for the public to not let this man be voted in, and he was.
There's also girls here at Rocky that get accused of like lying about it.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what would make her feel comfortable going out like against this dude of power? Like if girls
especially
in Fort Collins
under such fire. I mean, like if you look on Twitter or on Instagram anywhere, like people are like attacking her for coming forward about something that like wrecked her life for a couple of years. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's just really sad, and people always ask, like, why don't you come forward? Because you, like, feel dirty and you feel like it's your fault for a long time, and, like, you don't, you want to, like, forget about it. But, like, she couldn't do that. She felt that she needed to, like, have people know what kind of man they were about to vote. And we just looked over it and just went past it.
The, like, bright side of this, where it's, like, not that bright of a side, but, like, a lot of girls are coming, like, together, and, like, a lot of, like, people I follow on Instagram are, like, posting pictures of her and being, like,
we believe
like,
you.
we believe you and stuff like that, which is amazing. Like, I bet she likes that part of it. Like, I'm hoping that she, like, can see that there's all these women who, like, understand what she's coming from. But, like, there's just so many people who are, like, ignorant about the fact of, like, sexual assault and stuff like that. And, like, especially guys, no offense, but, like, they don't come in contact with anything that's sexually traumatic as often as girls do.
Well, the whole Him Too movement, have you seen that?
Yeah.
It's like they're people banding together against being falsely accused. But really, men statistically are more likely to be sexually assaulted than falsely accused of sexual assault. Yeah. Because if you're falsely accusing someone of sexual assault, that's such a rarity, and it's so fucked up that, like, it doesn't happen that much.
Yeah. It's just, the whole situation is just, like, it's so messy, and it's hard to, like, come to a conclusion
with this. It makes you feel hopeless.
Yeah, because, like, this is, like, why so many women don't come forward and, like, speak about it, because, like, to literally be like, this guy, like, sexually assaulted me, made me, like held my mouth to make sure that I didn't scream, like, felt like I was gonna be suffocated, like, she literally said all this stuff, and everybody's like, oh, that's cute, cool, like, he's still gonna be our Supreme Court leader. Like, what does that mean?
From the time we're little, we're raised to raise your voice and stand up for what you believe and do what's right, but that's exactly what she did, and she's just getting attacked online. She's getting nothing out of it. He still voted in. And, I mean, justices are in for life. So unless someone else comes forward, you can't double jeopardy. So we can't revisit this topic and be like, actually, you did. Because the FBI did the whole 5-day look into it where they didn't interview the victim or the person being accused. They didn't interview anyone. They just looked at the paper and decided that he was good to go. Yeah. Which is really pathetic. And it makes me wonder what else they're, like, quote-unquote, looking into that they're not even trying.
Because they have, like, biases and stuff. Like, they knew who Brett Kavanaugh was, and, like, the judge of that trial, I think, was, like, his friend. And, like, I could be wrong about this, but I, like, think, I don't know, I read something about it, but, like, he was, like, I think the judge even himself, he was like, I don't believe you did this. Like, you're not really going to look that hard into it, basically. Like, that's, like, there's probably so many biases in the government, and this, like, just doesn't give you hope at all. Like, I lost hope when Donald Trump became our president, but
this really
well, the computer died. We're back.
It's okay. But we're gonna give our, like, finishing thoughts about it, I guess.
I think we should go one by one, give, like, a last little thought, and then
I'll go
Erin.
first. Okay, basically, in the end, if it was fake, if it was not fake, women don't have hope in, like, America. Like, for there to, like this girl to come forward and come up with this story, like, I don't think it's fake. But, like, for somebody to see their violator, like, be a nominee for the Supreme Court, like, something that decides America and, like, makes decisions for America and stuff, like, why would you not want to come forward and talk about that? But, like, I feel like she expected way more out of it than she got, because that's just how disappointing America is. If President Donald Trump can be our president and have all these allegations, literally have video, like, proof of him saying grab her by, you know, and he's still our president, this just proves even more about, like, how women are just silenced and not really given the time of day because we came up with it, or, like, it was our fault or something like that. So basically, in the end, I'm very mad about this.
Basically, I'm not surprised that this happened. Just disappointed again, because this has been happening so often. Can't be surprised anymore when the guy gets what he wanted the whole time. But I don't know, I, like, grew up thinking that a Supreme Court leader, like, they are, like, this holy being. Like, I always looked at the Supreme Court and I was like, wow, that's, like, the best you can get. And now we just have somebody who sexually assaulted on it. So what can we do?
Yeah. I just think, like, if our president's been accused and now a Supreme Court justice has been accused, it's a sad time in America, and I don't even know where to go next. I think we need to have a conversation about, like, how we can fix this problem, because I'm just a 17-year-old girl in Fort Collins, Colorado, and I'm really impressioned by this. Like, it makes me really sad, and I feel really helpless, but we all need to get together as America and be supportive of women in sexual assault victims, and just try and show that just because our leaders are sucky and horrible, we are supportive, you know?
That is our opinions on this whole case.
Yeah.
That's just our opinions. And
Please don't come for us like you came for the sexual assault victim.
But that's all we know. Like, we looked it up. That's what we got.
So, yeah, we're maybe not the most researched and educated people to speak on this topic,
but we are women.
We are upset.
We're angry.
Signing off. It's Violet.
Bye, guys.
See you later.
Mwah.